Welcome to the DTFC Side Project Advice channel, where we dive into students' side projects to give them specific advice on how to help them reach their goals. I'm Dan Rodriguez, founder of the Disrupting the Future Coalition, the DTFC. In this video, I get to talk to a student about a side project that she's exploring to automate music playlist additions through Python. So welcome, Sally, to the DTFC Side Project Advice channel.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining. So I'm excited to see what project you have here for us. So I'll hand it over to you and you can run us through what you've been working on.
Yeah, great. So this is an idea I've been thinking about for quite a while now. So the problem that I found was that when I was browsing through YouTube, after I like a video, a music video that I really like, I don't really know. I have to go through the process of manually putting that liked music and searching that in Spotify and putting it in my playlist. So that process is a bit tedious, and that's kind of my problem. I know it's a first world problem, but I'm sure that many people have the same concern as me. So my solution is to use Python to automate the process of adding songs from YouTube, so the songs that I've liked so far, to a Spotify playlist. So I can definitely break this down in several steps later on, but that's kind of the basic description of it. So why did I decide to take on this project? I think it's just my personal interest. I thought this would be a cool idea, and I thought this would be very convenient for other people because they might have the same problem as me. Yeah. So the target market, I haven't really thought of this one, but I think just from asking people that are around me, the target market is probably students or young people, because I don't know. I guess older people can use this as well, not to say, not to discriminate or anything, but like the main market is probably students. And in terms of developing this program slash edition, I think that we're going to start with watching a few tutorial videos, see if this kind of things has been done before. And the second thing is to start writing Python scripts, which I've kind of started to do already. And then the next part is to learn the different APIs or libraries that are used to develop the script and optimize this edition. And then lastly, for why did I make all of these decisions, it is based on like what this product is. I'm starting off with, obviously I need to have a script. I need to have the basic backbone of this project. So that is Python scripts. And then if we want to add more things to it, then we might, like, I don't know too much about this, so I'll have to do more research. But if we want to add more things onto it, we might have to consider UI or UX additions. Yeah. Prototype status. So I've started the basic script of it, but I haven't finished it. So I classify that as not started or not finished. For next steps for me, obviously finish the script and start off with the tutorial listed here and see if there are any issues with the documentations of the APIs or the Python script itself. So that's like some debugging and just writing for the next few days. And then, yeah, I was wondering, so questions for you is that this is the one feature that I thought of. I'm sure that we can, once this is finalized, we can take this to the next step, maybe making it into an app or something similar. So my question is, what do you think are some of the other features that can be added on to this project to make it more beneficial?
I think overall, I think the process that you're following makes sense. And I mean, I like the problem that you found because I mean, it directly relates to you. And I mean, even looking at the target market, I'm sure there's other people, like you said, that are having this kind of issue. And sure, it is a matter of convenience, but as one of the huge things from side projects is if you're not interested in something, it tends to fall to the wayside, right? So I think picking a project that actually relates to you and that you're interested in and that actually can have an effect on you is a great motivating factor. And I think that's like half the battle, right? So I think good job on definitely on picking a good topic there. The first question is, how did you decide on using Python as your technology of choice?
So I think first thing is that I'm definitely more familiar with Python than other languages. It is the first languages that I use to code. So, and like there are so many advantages to Python, the programming language itself. It's open source, it's accessible to everyone. And I think that by writing this code in Python first, and then maybe putting it on GitHub for other people to revise it and see it, that can improve and optimize the addition as well. So I think that that's kind of the beneficial part of Python.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think, again, that's a good decision-making process to go through, which obviously you did. I mean, the only things that I could suggest would be to look into other potential solutions, which I think you did mention as well as something that's on your list of things to do is maybe there are some other solutions or other people that have tried to attack this problem. And it would be interesting to see what technology they used, right? Maybe they chose some other technology for some other reasons. It's not a bad thing to pick something that you're familiar with to start with, but it also can be beneficial to do some research on other technologies or other possibilities for solutions, because maybe that would make your life easier and you're going to get to a solution faster, right? So it's just the general kind of thought process you can go through to try and make that selection. But that being said, the advantages that you mentioned about Python do make sense. So I think that you're probably on the right path already, but it probably doesn't hurt just to take a look at and see what else is out there too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So in terms of the target market, okay, you're approaching it from a student perspective or younger people. Is there a reason that you don't think it would work for other demographics, or was that just like your mindset from where to start?
Yeah, I think it was just my mindset from where to start, because like this is more of a problem for young people. Like they listen, I think they listen to music on streaming platforms a lot more than older people. So that's how I thought of it. But I think it can definitely apply to, like, now that I think of it, it can definitely apply to like elderly people too, because like the process itself is pretty tedious, and it might help them to like go through the technological process without really touching the computer at all.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's a very good point, right? In the sense that like, not to generalize, but I think younger people are generally more familiar with technology. I mean, not to say that there aren't, especially in the the age that we're in right now, everyone's pretty familiar, but it's probably a lot easier for students to make that switch to use from YouTube to Spotify, as opposed to somebody else who's not as familiar with the platform, regardless of age, right? So yeah, I mean, it's an interesting one to start with, because you definitely are going to be part of the user base, or at least know a bunch of people that are going to benefit from this. So like getting user feedback on once you actually get it working, and maybe you can share it with some friends or some other people that you know that are struggling with this issue, then you can get some feedback on it, right? So, I mean, I guess part of why I was asking that as well is just because I think it relates to your question of like other features, right? Because I think when you start thinking about who your target market is and what things they're struggling with, that could be another area for you to focus and say, okay, well, these people or this target market is having this specific issue, but there's also these other pieces, A, B, and C, that are also problems for them. And maybe that's something that I can incorporate into this project too.
Right. I think from what I'm getting at from you is that we can try to make this project more accessible to people, especially like for older people, adding accessibility features. Like, I don't know, like if we choose to make this an app later on, then we can probably add features like bigger text, or like a detailed detailed instruction in the app itself, like something like that, just to make sure that everyone has the ability to go through the process and understand what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where that target market discussion is going to be different, or is important for you to have, right?
Yeah.
If you are targeting a community that is more interested in accessibility features as opposed to maybe these more optimization kind of features that you were starting with, that might send you in different directions, right? So that
Right.
from a features requirements perspective, that's probably what you're going to want to think about to figure out what to add, right? And I mean, I'm sure there's other things that you struggle with or that I struggle with that maybe others are also struggling with. But if that's not your target market, then you probably want to rethink whether that's a feature you add or you should be trying to focus on other features, right?
Yeah. I think as of now, I'll start with the optimization part and then see how that goes. I'll ask my friends to test it out after I finish. And then after that, if that's going well, then we can maybe take the other direction, see what we can do to make this edition more accessible, or just music more accessible to people in general.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely a good plan, and especially like as you're able to roll this out or share it with other people. If you share it to people that are in different target markets, they'll probably give you feedback on it and say, hey, well, yeah, this was really cool. It would be also interesting if you could fix this other problem that I'm having, or this other feature that I feel like we're missing that could be really a good addition. So it's definitely good to get user feedback. And at the end of the day, you want the market to tell you what they want, right? And most of the time, if they're experiencing issues, they're not too shy about that. So it'll probably be fairly obvious pretty quickly what kinds of things they'd be looking for. And that can help to shape you or shape the project going forward.
Right, that makes sense.
Relating to trying to take this to the next level, because I think your plan for right now, what you're doing and how you're focusing and the steps that you're taking, I think they make sense. If you were to think beyond this to either releasing this to the public or even turning this into a business, like you mentioned, maybe there's a way that you could turn this into an app. Did you have ideas along those lines of like where you think you could take this eventually?
I I don't have a clear plan yet, but like I said before, if this is successful, and I think this is a large if this and also if this is a large demand, then I might take it to the next level to create an app. So that also requires like coding and probably more people working on this app. So I'm not just by myself. Yeah, so I think so after the initial kind of basic coding from me, then we can probably take it to the next level. So create an app. So if this app is successful and people actually want to use it, then we can, I guess this is kind of a business model. So making this app like on iTunes or on other platforms, charge for this app. So maybe it's $2 or $3, whatever. But yeah, like that, monetizing the app.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I think once you get there, I think you're definitely on the right track. And I mean, I would probably call this like your proof of concept, right? Which is exactly where you want to start. So you're doing the right thing in that, and not overcomplicating it with too many other features. But at the same time, you do it can be helpful to think a few steps ahead to if this was to work out, what would be some other features that you could add, or what are ways to turn it into a business, or even just like a small money making venture.
Right.
Because maybe some of those features or things that you're looking at down the road will affect the decisions that you're making right now, right? So it does kind of pay off to do a little bit of planning ahead, just even in conceptually, to say, okay, well, I think that if this works out, this is where I could go to step 2, 3, and 4. And if I was to do that, these are some of the decisions that I would want to be considering right now that will make my life easier down the road, even if I don't get there. But hopefully, assuming that I do, then those decisions I'm making now will be helpful and valuable for the future.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a cool project. Um, in terms of your next step, starting with like a tutorial, how did you figure out which tutorial to watch or which like set of videos to kind of give you some background in this?
So I think I first kind of clicked with this problem because of this tutorial. I just saw it on YouTube. I didn't watch too much of it. I watched like 1 minute or 2 minutes of it. And then I just thought this is such a common problem that people have. But again, I don't want to just take their issue and take their problem and use it as my own. I want to add on some different features. So what I'm thinking right now is that I'll start off with what this person has shown to the world, and then I'll see if I can build on more features that can help people, or like we said before, adding on some like accessibility features in this edition. So that's kind of where I'm thinking and where I think I should start.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I think this is a cool project. I like the idea, and I mean, I think there's definitely some potential here. So I'm pretty excited to see where you can take it. And yeah, I mean, all the best with moving forward with this. And maybe in a few weeks or whenever you get this going, you can come back on and give everyone an update of where you are and all the lessons that you learned working through this process.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
Cool. All right. Well, yeah, thanks, Sally. Appreciate you doing this.
Thank you so much.
Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the DTFC's Side Project Advice channel.